everybody. Welcome to another week's edition of The Eyes of Texas. I'm Ron Stone, and for the next half hour, we'll take you to a few places in the state you may have missed and introduce you to some of the people who give it its unique character. Meet a man born and raised on the Indian Reservation who just loves to show off his native East Texas. We'll go to a mom-and-pop business that turns out some of the tastiest sausage you're likely to find anywhere. Folks in Wharton have been taking care of their heritage, and will visit Monterey Square around the Wharton County Courthouse. It was in September of 1858 that the Butterfield Overland Stagecoach departed St. Louis, Missouri in a flurry of excitement. It was bound for the West Coast. John Butterfield had been hired by the government to deliver mail to San Francisco, California. The deal was he had to get the mail from St. Louis to San Francisco in 25 days or less, and that's an almost unbelievable task for the 1850s. But Butterfield surprised everybody. He not only delivered the mail on time, he delivered passengers as well, and he made it with a day to spare. The sounds are quite different now, but the scenery is much the same as it was 115 years ago when the Butterfield Overland Stage Line was traveling through this country at a rate of 2 coaches a week. $200 to go west for dreamers, $100 for the realists to come back to St. Louis. The hoofbeats are gone and replaced by the constant roar of the gas guzzlers that carry motorists that don't even have time to stop and see the marker that makes this spot so special. This is Chimney Creek Ranch outside of Albany, once a part of the vast Matthews Empire of West Texas, now in the hands of Chan Driscoll of Midland. Chan's grandfather, G.R. Davis, bought the ranch in 1915, and in doing so, purchased a valuable piece of Texas history. Some old livestock loading pens that date back to the original Matthews are still standing and are still in use. When Bud Matthews was alive, the cattle were rounded up for the northern markets and loaded on boxcars of the Texas and Central Railroad. Today, trucks have replaced the railroad, but the pens, known by haulers as the Bud Matthews Switch, are still holding cattle at market time. Chimney Creek Ranch also houses Smith Station, one of many rest stops on the Butterfield route. It was built in 1858 in the wilderness of Shackelford County and was the only stage stop between the Clear Fork of the Brazos and Fort Phantom Hill. It got its name from the family that ran it. The Smiths offered meals, fresh horse teams, and even overnight accommodations for weary travelers. Smith Station was managed for 3 years until the outbreak of the Civil War ended the Butterfield mail run. Chimney Creek Ranch is a working ranch today with its oil and its cattle, but Chan Driscoll clings to the past. She remembers playing under the giant pecan tree as a child and staying in the 100-year-old ranch house. Some of her fondest memories, then and now, have been recorded right here.
That is my peace on earth. That's where I can go and get away from it all. The 4th generation of Wallers are still living on this ranch. Robert Waller and his wife Ruby live there right now, and they have children and grandchildren that work that ranch. It is so busy with roundups, with feeding those cattle, taking care of those animals. Night and day, it's a 24-hour day job.
The history is getting harder and harder to hold on to. Except for a marker, Smith Station is little more than a memory. Never really was much here in the first place, just tents and pens. But there was a stone chimney to mark the station. It was next to a creek bed, and that's how Chimney Creek got its name. Some of the stones from the chimney are scattered around now and are guarded by the cowboys. One story has it that the rest of the stones were sold by a family during the Depression and ended up being used as a foundation for part of State Highway 351. That may or may not be true, but Chan Driscoll's family has managed to hold on to the land and keep it intact. And with it, the memories of a remarkable era in Texas past, still alive here in the West.